Hello, I'm back. I'm going to do a realistic piano melody thing again. It's part two, I guess, but I did make it a few years ago, so it's revisited. I'm going to go into probably some more advanced style melodies. The first one was pretty basic. This will be more advanced, probably more convincing sounding, and I'm going to write it all on the piano roll. So I'm going to assume that the people who are watching this, you're not using a keyboard and trying to record it, because if you can do that, then you don't really need this as much. But let's say you're just trying to write it all into the piano roll. There are a few tools that you can use to make it a little bit easier to make your melody sound more convincing. I'm using Piano One plugin. I think it's free. Got it a while ago. I do think it sounds good. I'm switching all my plugins to FL12 because I'm using 12 now. So this is the only piano plugin I have right now on it. And yeah, so we're gonna look into quite a few concepts here of like the timing, maybe some piano melody, I don't know, theory? Yeah, that's the word. So what I'm going to do is, when thinking of, well, okay, how much do I explain here? When a pianist is playing the piano, obviously two hands are being used, but the left hand usually plays the chords and the right hand usually plays the melody. So what I'm going to do is, oftentimes, like, the pianist doesn't hit the keys right on the one, right? Usually there's a little bit of like a few notes before the one, and then the one comes in. So for this melody, I got this little thing I literally just came up with. So the right hand hits the melodies first, and then the left hand comes in. The left hand that hit the chord, that's the one. So if you want to write this into the piano roll, I guess the way it'd probably work is there's a few ways you can go about doing this, but I guess what you could do is just have the chord being played on the one. So we don't want the chord to be played like this. It's just, it hits too hard. No one plays the keys like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the strum tool. So you go into I did that really quickly. You go into the wrench tool up in the corner and then strum. And then you can kind of mess with these knobs here to make it sort of position the way you want it. You can kind of adjust it though. And preview it so that like it's how you want it. Alright, so as you can see, this note here is a little bit off. I think this note's a little bit off too. I think that's fine. I think even if it's a little tiny bit off, that can sometimes be a good thing. So this is the first chord. That's kind of how I was playing it. So you can use the keyboard, like typing keyboard here. So let's say you have this chord down here, and then you use the tool, kind of make it sound arpeggiated or strummed or whatever. You can use these velocity things, but we'll do that after. So since this is supposed to come in before that, what I'll just do is, that's the one right there. Alright, so we got this little, apparently it's called a grace note, that comes in before, right on the one, and then the actual note here is the E. Tempo might be a bit fast. Alright, so then we'll change the magnet to be like none. Quarter step is fine. I feel like this note should hit at the same time as this, or close to. It's possible that this is a little bit off. Yeah, you kind of have to mess around with it until you get it to how you want it to sound. Alright, so at this point it should be kind of quiet. I think generally speaking, you want the right hand to be a little bit louder. All right, fair enough. So I take that. Same idea for the next chord, but you want to kind of switch it up a little bit too. Maybe this one could be hit kind of at the same time, all the notes. Another grace note in there, why not? I find the grace notes are the hardest to actually make it sound convincing, just writing it in. If that's even what they're called. Is that what they're called? And then a bit of rhythm, so we'll bring it down before the next beat. Alright, we'll do the same thing here. We'll bring it just before, so like on the off beat it'll come in. Alright, so now I'll try to hit a minor chord, A minor. So as you can see, a lot of it is just like, I don't have the magnet on cell anymore. I just have it on like quarter step, and it's just, you keep going back and forth until it sounds convincing, and then you kind of mess with the velocity stuff. And then the first part, which is a bit louder, that comes at the end of the whatever the loop is. But the thing is with the piano melodies is they're a little bit more linear, so it's not something that you always want to loop if you want to make it sound convincing. It's more something that you wouldn't make a 4 or 8 bar loop of a piano melody. It'd be more like a 16 bar section of like the piano moving forward all the time, because you want to keep adding variation to just kind of how the chords are played, and just different stuff like that with the melodies and the timing and everything, to make it sound like it's not like you took a piano like waveform and just wave file and just repeated it or something, right? So another thing you can do, like I say, to make it sound more powerful as well, take all the root notes of your chords and play them on the lower octave. It's kind of like not realistic, but it's still something that you can do for the mixing or whatever. It's nice. I really like that, so just make it sound really subtle. this does loop pretty well, which is nice. But I think this is a pretty decent piano melody. I mean, there's a lot of different styles, I guess, but I think this is a pretty standard one that you guys could use. Just there's a very clear established left hand and right hand, which is only just playing one note at a time. Sometimes right hand can play like different like intervals. So I guess we could try that. So I guess what you'd do is you'd harmonize the melody notes, which is these ones here, I guess. Okay, starting to turn into four-hand or like six-hand piano here, but still, this is kind of how some people might do it. I think it sounds really cool. So I think it sounds really good, actually. A lot of people always ask me if they can use the melody from my last tutorial. Just use it. I mean, like, you can credit me if you want, but it's really not like that big of a deal. It's really basic. This here, though, I kind of like this. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I might use it. Whenever I do a tutorial, I'm always like, I never really use the melodies that I make from it, but this is quite cool. But just, if you're going to use anything that I do, just like, you know, use the technique. Don't just copy me. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I don't know what happened here with the notes. Don't know why it does that. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed and you guys learned something. It's kind of like, I don't know if I really taught you guys anything really that special. It's just the strum tool and like using the magnets and stuff and getting a feel for it. I think, yeah, piano melodies, it's more like intuitive and it's more like, you know, you get a feel for it. It's not so much something that you just, it's less structured and mathematic and perfect, I find. Like, that's how I like to play piano. I don't, like, some people play piano like to just bash the chords like right where they need to be bashed or whatever. I'm not like that big of a fan of that. I like more this kind of stuff. So, you know, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.